Good morning, students. Today we are going to read the lecture number 2 in the topic of water in the subject of chemistry O levels. And today's topic is water treatment. So concentrate yourself. A lot of concepts and ideas are going to be involved in the lecture. So we are going to start now. Water supplied to the public must be free from impurities. Impurities can be insoluble, such as clay, silt, and microorganisms are insoluble into the water, and may be soluble, such as the industrial or agricultural pollutants and dissolved organic compounds. All these impurities must be reduced to the safe amounts before the water is piped. Otherwise, they may harm the living creatures. Waterworks. There is no universal way of the purifying water. The method used depends on the local situation, but most waterworks carry out the jobs illustrated below. Here is the figure, and now all these processes are being discussed in detail. The first step in purifying the water is screening. This removes the biggest pieces of the waste. Then water is sent to in a chamber that is called process settling. The sewage goes into the settling tanks where the larger particles sink to the bottom. The next chamber, the next process is called sedimentation. In the sedimentation tank, even smaller particles sink to the bottom and form a sludge. So the large particles and now the small particles of the pollutants are being removed. The next process is called aeration. From the sedimentation tank, the liquid is run off and is sprinkled over circular beds of the stones. Bacteria on the stones digest all the harmful things in the water. So the harmful things are also removed by the action of the bacteria that are present on these stones. This helps the remove of the iron ions in the water. They precipitate out as iron hydroxide. If this happens in your water at home, so look now, if the iron ions present in the water, they can cause these things. Number one, vegetables to turn brown. Number two, tea to have an inky color and bitter taste. Number three, clothes to get rusty stains after washing. So these things will happen if the water will contain iron ions. Sometimes further treatments is needed and the water goes into a tank in which the air is blown through it. But this is not enough. Then the water is processed through a process that is called second sedimentation. The sludge from the second sedimentation tank is run off into another tank called a digester, where more bacteria feed on it. This process makes methane gas, which can be used as a fuel. Then the water is sent to sterilize. The sterilization process is, even with all this treatment, the water still contains some bacteria. These are now killed by passing either chlorine or ozone into the water. This is called chlorification process. A concentration of the only 5 parts per million is enough to sterilize the water. The next process is, that is the last one in the purification of the water, is called sludge disposal. Finally, all the unwanted sludge is removed to be dumped at sea or is dried and burnt to ash. So this was the lecture. I hope so this will be much more easier and interesting for you people to understand. So read this lecture again, understand it, learn it, and make your notes. Thank you so much.